Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Sayyidina wa Nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. وقال تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. صدق الله العظيم. My dear respected brothers and sisters, firstly, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Come on, we can do better than that for London. We can do better than that for London. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's good. The brother just before the event said to me, he said he brought his wife to this event. I said, no, your wife brought you. I'm saying, because you got things to listen on both sides. I want to tell you brothers and sisters that look, you're going to make your biggest decision in your life. It's going to be about marriage. And this big decision you're going to make is going to be, inshallah, the right decision you make. You got to get it right. Okay, a lot of us end up making the wrong decision, and then we happen to, go through life and then having to sort of pick up the pieces later on. So one of the first things that I'm going to say to you is that a brother came up to me and he said, Shaykh, he said, I want to get married. Or he said, I need to find someone. I said, okay. I said, what are you looking for? So he gave me a list of things to look for. He started off, he said, I'm looking for a woman. And I thought, subhanallah, 2019 to say that is wow. That is, you know what? I have to say subhanallah for that, right? So he's looking for a woman. He said that she has to be beautiful, intelligent, someone who's going to look after him, and all these other features that he said. I said, brother, I've got someone for you. He said, Shaykh. He said, where? I said, she's in Jannah. Right? Okay? Because look, the biggest problem you're starting off with first, my brother and my sister, is you're starting off wanting to find this perfect person, right? Perfect person you want to find. Because you think that you're perfect. Whoever right now does not think they're perfect, put your hands up. Oh my God, there are still people are going, oh my God, I can't believe it. I mean, if you seriously think you're perfect, then please go to another planet. Because this whole world is full of imperfect people. The only perfect people were the prophets ﷺ. They've gone from this earth. There's no more prophets to come. Okay? So perfect people end. Finished. Okay? You are imperfect and you're looking for another imperfect human being. And that's how you should start. If you want to make yourself feel better, that's how you're going to start. Because if you carry on going down the line of, I've got to find this, I've got to find that, I've got to find this, I've got to find that, you end up feeling that you're really disappointed. I mean, already you've led a life where you've had too many things. I'm telling you right now, a lot of marriages, they end up going through a rocky ride because you already had too many things. She's like to her husband, she's like, what? My dad had a 60-inch screen. Why have we got a 24-inch one? My dad had leather sofas. We've got fabric ones here. My dad used to take me on all these holidays when I was young. I haven't been on a holiday for so many years. The guy feels like saying, I'm not your dad. All right? I'm not your dad. I'm serious. Because the thing is, if you go with high expectations in anything, you're going to be disappointed in this world. High expectations in anything in this world, you're going to be left disappointed. It's a fact. You should go with low expectations, feeling that, you might not get much. And honestly, whatever you receive after that, you'll feel good about it. So the thing is, Jannah is where, when we were small, right, they gave us all these stories. These Jackanories. They said every single story ended up with this one phrase I used to remember. It said, and they lived happily ever after. And you thought, when I grow up, I'm going to live happily ever after. No, you're not. Okay, this is dunya. You live happily ever after, inshallah, in Jannah. Say inshallah. Inshallah. But in this world, if you're going to look for happily ever after, you're going to be disappointed. I'm telling you right now. A lot of people have spoiled their entire marriage from day one because their expectations are high. They're looking for this, they're looking for that. And because your expectations are high, and the guy can't, the guy might not have it, the girl might not have it, right? All those things that you put. And a lot of people are like, just because your mom, look, I'm going to tell you guys, okay? Just because your mom did everything for you, right? She tidied your bed for you, she cleaned your clothes for you, she ironed them for you, your sister probably ironed some of them for you, you never had to cook anything, you never had to clean anything, you were just, Mr. Nobody in the house, right? Just loathing about and getting everything. Doesn't mean that you turn around to your wife and expect her just to become magical like your mother. Right? The same way with you sisters. Don't look at your husband and think, my brother's like this, my dad's like this, you're a dump, right? Why? I mean, he's not your brother, he's not your father. Lower your expectations down. He's a different person, he's a different individual. You're a different individual, so look at each other for who you really are, right? Now you're going to say to me, okay, fine, what are the things that we're supposed to look for in a person? You're going to probably have just a few things that you're going to look for. Just before I move ahead, I'm going to ask you, those of you who are married, hands up. Those of you who are wanting to get married, hands up. Oh my God, what about the rest of you? Why did you come here for then? Oh my God, I didn't see all the hands go up. Some of them like, I don't know. I'll see how it looks like, I'm here to find out. Let me tell you one thing, okay? People actually think marriage is really hard because all these married people, they're having problems. Guess what? You're looking at the wrong info. Any person who lives with somebody else in a close relationship is exactly the same as married people. You've got to understand this. So people who are together, dating, people who have, cohabitating sort of relationships, people who are there living together as partners and they're not married, they have exactly the same things that married people have. In fact, they have it worse. Because what marriage does is that it ties you in together. It gives each other responsibilities, and it has Allah Azza wa Jal as the one who's going to see you on the Day of Judgment for what you never did, which you should have done, or what you shouldn't have done and you did. Those are the things that we're going to go to Allah for on the Day of Judgment. So it really secures it in a big way. So I'm going to ask you guys, look, please try and make the move as early as you can, right? And when I say early as you can, obviously you have to have a mental age as well for marriage. All right, I sometimes I look at these youngsters, and I think, wow, is he? Subhanallah. You look at the body. Sometimes you look at the body. The body is like a 18-year-old individual, and mashallah, they're already talking like a 25-year-old. They're talking like a 30-year-old. The mental age is 25, 30, but the actual physical age is 18. Sometimes, unfortunately, you find that the person is actually 25 years old, but the mental age is about 12. And you kind of wonder, oh my God, if I was to ever marry you, then subhanAllah, I'd be living with a kid. I'd be living with a child. They might even call me a pedophile, astaghfirullah al-azim, right? So the thing is, mental age really matters. Now, some people are ready for it, some are not ready for it, but you know what? You know when you're ready for it, because you know what? I tell you one of the biggest things that goes on. I really feel sorry for you guys who are in college and university and, you just can't get married. The reason why you can't get married is not because you're not physically able. You're physically able, you're completely fine. It's your parents and the society around you that has made it difficult for you. So I really feel sorry for you, because I go to the universities and I see these men. These men are like jumping up and down. They're like, they're trying to, show the macho man style, they want to attract something. If you know what I'm trying to say, yeah? The brother's like, that sister over there needs my dawah. That sister over there needs your dawah. Yeah, that sister's not wearing hijab. She needs my dawah. Once I give her dawah, then she's going to wear hijab. Then I'm going to make her convert. Then I'm going to make her marry me. Then we're going to live happily ever after. Wow. I'm thinking, wow. What about all the other brothers? You're supposed to give them dawah. No. What about all the other sisters? No, that one sister. And later on, they're doing dawah somewhere else. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they're both giving each other dawah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah? I feel sorry for you. When I was young, alhamdulillah, I have to say one thing, right? I was locked up in a building, of several buildings actually. Alhamdulillah, not in prison, don't worry. It was called boarding schools. 9 years I went to boarding schools from 14 to 23. Alhamdulillah, right now I'm saying alhamdulillah. Back then I said astaghfirullah. But the thing is, because I was in there, I didn't go through most of what you're going through. And I really feel sorry for you, because the thing is, the best proposals all of you are getting, tell me am I right or wrong, all of you are getting the best proposals coming to you is between the age of 20 and 25. You're getting plenty of them coming through. And you know why you're getting them? Because you've been advertised. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You don't get it, do you? You know all those weddings you've been going every single year, where your mummy makes sure that you're dressed in a particular way, that everything is perfect. Sister, you've been advertised. Okay? You've been advertised every single year to all those other aunties. Okay? And brothers, you've also been advertised as well. That's what they do at these wedding functions. And then auntie has been eyeing you out for the last few years. Every year she asks, how old is she? 16? Okay, 2 more years to go. How old is she? 18? Okay. Now Auntie G comes to your house, right? And Auntie G proposes. You know, my son for your thingy, or is my daughter for your son. And the other auntie there is like, Neji, never. My little Munna has to finish education. When my Munna finish education, then I look at it, not now. Right? Now you have the door shut on you because of all these things that they put. I don't know how many things they put that they don't want in their face. 20 to 25, you're getting the best of your proposals coming through. And most of you are not making the move because of your parents, because of all these other things that they've added. Like for example, I'll tell you a truth, okay? 25 years ago, they never even asked in this country, they never even asked the guy to have A-levels. Do you know that? Degree was a far-fetched thing because those days nobody had degrees. Hardly anybody had degrees, right? So he was like, okay, if he doesn't even have A-levels, doesn't matter. If he's got his O-levels, those days GCSEs was called O-levels. They said, if he's got that, then we're happy with it. Then after a while, you know what they said? They said, that's not enough. They said, we want him to have the A-levels, fine. Then after that, they said, no, we want him to have a degree. So he got his degree. Then after that, you know, about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, no. We want him to have degree and have a job. So he gets a degree and he gets a job. Then now recently, you know what they're saying? We want him to have degree and to have a job and for him to secure the monies for the flat or the apartment or the house that he's going to buy. The deposit that he's going to put down, he needs to have that money. If you actually look at these brothers, right? His age is now about 32 by the time he's got all that done. If you look at the top of his head, it looks like an M&M. Have you seen an M&M, how shiny it is? Flat and shiny, yes? That's how his top of his head is looking like. He's like bald, my sister. Okay? And you, my sister, what have you been doing for the last few years? Because you've been waiting for your Prince Charming to come and see you at the age of 29, 30 or whatever, okay? You've both led an independent life for the last few years. And the reason why I say to you, the earlier you get married, the better it is because young people can blend together, forgive very easily, and, you know, be with one another and adapt with one another very easily. Old people, however, they find it very, very difficult to do that. The older you get, the more difficult it is for you to blend with people. It's like, for example, you see young kids, okay? They say right now, I'm never going to play with you ever again. And 5 minutes later, they're playing again, right? We see it all the time. Yes or no? Can tell me. Yes or no? 5 minutes later, they're playing. So if you're a young couple, you're like, you know, if you look at a tree, a tree grows first with green branches. Those green branches, you can weave them through your trellis. But when the tree gets older and older, it gets more brown. The more brown it gets, the more set in its way it gets. And then it's very difficult for you to then weave that branch. The same way, the older you're getting, the difficult it is. By the age that he's like 32, you're like 30, 31, whatever, you've already led a 7-year independent life with one another. Like she's like, you know, I don't do that. I'm sorry, but in my flat when I used to live, I never used to do that, okay? I'm not your slave. So you better find somebody else for that. Because I'm not going to do that, all right? So already they're having all these arguments because they can't blend with each other. And I'm telling you right now, when you're 28, 29, 30, 31, you know, when your parents think that, you know what, everything's set now. The degree is there, the job is there, the security money is there. You know what, the next person that comes through the door, they don't ask the same questions they asked 5 years ago. 5 years ago when you were like 24 and they came, there were no questions asked. They were like, we just want your son for our daughter or your daughter for our son. Now they walk in at 29, you know what they say? They say, why haven't you got married all these years? Would you like to tell us why you haven't? How many rejections have you gone through? Or how many have you rejected? Right? They're coming now to find faults. Tell me true or not. At 29, 30, anyone walking through is like, why have they taken so long? Why is it taking so long? What's going on? Is there something wrong with the family? Something wrong with one of them? And la ilaha illallah. You know what the Prophet said in his time is, he said, Ya ma'ashar al-shabab, he said, oh youngsters, he said, those of you who can get married. He was talking to the men, the young men. He said, those of you who can get married, he said, get married. And if you can't, he said, fast. And fasting will protect you. And when I say fast, I mean the type of fast that actually makes you hungry. Do you guys know what I'm trying to say? Not the type of fast where you have, you have a massive feast by iftar. You know what I'm saying? So big that la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, even your stomach is looking like a melon. Like, not that kind of fast. Right? Not that kind of fast where you can't even hold your wudu anymore. Because that's how much you've actually eaten. Right? Brothers in Taraweeh, like Shaykh, I can't hold my wudu. I say, please explain to me, what have you had for iftar? And by the time he goes through all his kebabs and everything else, and samosas and biryanis and faludas and all these, gulab jams and everything else he's had, I say, brother, in your stomach, you have tsunami. You know what I'm saying? And it's about to come out. So you better, every time he goes into ruku, even the Imam Sahib, instead of the Imam Sahib saying, right, after second rakat, there's going to be a sajda, right? The Imam Sahib is like, after second rakat, there's going to be a gas leak. So you better be careful, all right? So what I'm talking about, proper fasting where you actually make yourself hungry, that keeps your desires, tamed. That's what he's talking about. But anyway, at 20 to 25, you had your best proposals. Those days, there was not even any questions asked. Later on, they get very nitpicky. And the whole reason why is because everyone came and added things to your list. You had about 3 things or 4 things that you wanted to get. Your parents came in, they put a few things on there. Your grandparents put something on there. And the best one is Auntie G. When Auntie G comes, she puts all these other stuff on there as if she's getting married again. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm the Auntie G, why are you making it so difficult for? And the kind of things they have on there. Ridiculous things. I'm telling you, ridiculous things. It's like, he has to be taller than you. Am I right or not? Tell me this. That is like a golden rule. Am I right or not? Come on, tell me. If he's slightly shorter than you, we are sorry, we can't do it. I'm like, yo, please, give us a chance. We can make her wear flat shoes. Yeah? We can make him wear some Dr. Martens, right? And raise his shoes. Or at worst, we'll donate a ladder. But we can make it work. They're like, if he is 1 year or a little bit younger than you, we can't let it happen. Isn't that right, guys? Tell me this. Most of us, come on guys, speak to me, man. I'm talking on your behalf. Yes, it's good. Brothers like, yes, I'm younger than her. I'm shorter than her. I want her. Please, Shaykh, tell him. Yes, sisters. You're going to be in a situation where you're going to find yourself that you found someone, but the age is slightly different. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his age was 25 when he got married to Khadija radiallahu anha, and her age was what? Did I hear 14? Or did I hear 40? 40, yes? 15-year gap. There's 2 narrations about her age. One is 40, one is 28. Either way you go, she's older than the Prophet ﷺ. She was a widow. She had several kids, and the Prophet ﷺ chose her. You try and explain that to your parents. They'll say, oh, that was Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is not us. What? We are in 2019. We are not over there. Oh my God, and they carry on adding things to the list. Things like the one thing they all must have. He's got to be handsome. She's got to be pretty. And when they say handsome or pretty, oh my God, they mean handsome in their eyes, pretty in their eyes. Who told you to look for pretty? Seriously, I feel like telling my dad. I mean, my dad's not alive, rahimahullah, but he never chose, I think, alhamdulillah. But I'm just trying to say, if I was one of you, I feel like trying to say to the dad, are you getting married or am I getting married? Seriously. Tell your mom. Seriously. I mean, I know you can't say, but you know what I'm trying to say. Get the message across. Are you getting mad? Am I getting mad? Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Some people like the button noses. Seriously, sister, you've got a button nose. Some men love the button nose because everything about you is like a buttony all over. It matches, alhamdulillah. And some women love the Concord nose because she wants to fly somewhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? She loves it. There are all sorts of people. They like the button nose, the sharp nose, the this, you know, the tall, the fat, the lean. Some people like the plus sizes, I'm telling you. I'm not making this up. One brother, I asked him, I said, what are you looking for? He said, I need her to be a bit. I'm not making this up. He said, some other guy, I said to him, I said, what are you looking for? He said, I need her feet to be like a little bit small. Honestly, he was stuck on small feet. I remember one sister once said, I can't have my guy having curly beard. Like, it's like the one thing, I just can't have him having a curly beard. Some sisters like it, some sisters don't like it. You got all sorts of things. And I keep on adding these things to your list. The beauty is in your eyes. And honestly, you know, your list probably has 12, 13 things on there. It never needed to have that. It makes life difficult for you. The more things they add on there, the more difficult it becomes for you. It's like when Banu Israel were told by Musa alayhi salam, go and slaughter a cow. Slaughtering a cow is any cow, right? They said no. They said, Mahi, what kind of cow it is? So he told them, it can't be an old cow, it can't be a young cow. It has to be one in between, mid-age cow. So they went and they came back, they said, Ma lawnuha, what is the color of this cow? So he went back to Allah. Allah said, okay, it's going to be very bright yellow, something when you look at it, your eyes are mesmerized by it. So they came back and they said, okay. Then they came back again. They asked another question. They said, tell us again, Mahia, you know, we don't know what kind of cow you're talking about. All they had to do is find a cow. Any cow would do. But they went on with one condition to another condition until Musa alayhi salam came back and said, my Lord is saying that it has to be a cow that's never tilted the ground, never, you know, watered and so on. So you're going to have to find that kind of cow. In the end, they found one. You know what? They found one cow in the whole of the region, and the guy wouldn't want to sell it to them. He didn't want to sell it to them. So they said, we really need this one cow. Tell us, go on. What are you going to give? He said, weigh it in gold. So they weighed the cow in gold, and then they bought it, and then they sacrificed that cow. That's why Surah Baqarah is mentioned. Surah Baqarah, the whole story is inside there. What's the lesson that you learn from this? Don't add unnecessary things. You understand? Don't add unnecessary things. Like, I mean, I love all of you. I love my Pakistani brothers and Pakistani sisters as well, right? But by the time you look at your list, right, and you go through your list and find someone, the only person suitable for you is your cousin. I'm like, how did you walk into that one? Seriously, they're like, you know, when they say to you, we're going to, you know, they said, you know, subhanAllah, you know, they first start with you, they say that, you know, there's a case in London. A guy said to me, he said to me, please can you talk to my daughter? I said, what's the matter? He said, she wants to get married to this revert, but the revert is a black brother, right? So I said, what's wrong with that? So he said, no, I want you to talk to her. You know, I said, I'm from a Pakistani family and I want, you know, her to marry a Pakistani. So I said, okay, I'll speak to your daughter. I spoke to the daughter. You know what the daughter said? The daughter said, all my life, my father preached to me that as long as he's a Muslim, it's fine. She said to me, is he not a Muslim? I said, yeah, he's a Muslim. Now what are you going to say? If you're going to preach in your house to your children, as long as he's a Muslim is fine, then Muslim, my friend, is right now 1.7 billion on the earth, all right? And of them, half of them are women, so it could be any one of them. Half of them are men, it could be any one of them. If you're going to preach, like for example, they say, like another person, they said, oh, Pakistani is fine. When they say Pakistan is fine, they don't mean Pakistan. They mean one part of Pakistan. Are you with me? When they say Bangladesh, if you're from, you know, East London, they mean Sylhet. They don't mean the rest of Bangladesh. You turn up with a Noakhali, it's like, Ya Allah, kita khoilebe. What have you just said? Honestly, that's how they are. I ain't got nothing against them, but that's how they are. Even if you bring someone from Sylhet, they've still got a problem with you. It's got to be from this part of Sylhet. It's got to be from Bishnath, or it's got to be from, you know, some other part, or Sherpur, or some other part of you know, Bangladesh. They've got to have it from certain places. And it gets tougher and tougher. Why don't you be honest and say, I'm just going to make you get married to these little areas, so you better find someone from those areas. And you better turn around and say, look, I'm not going to look for this, Banu Israel cow. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I'm not going to go there and start making my life difficult because of you. So anyway, you know what happens in the end? By the time you get into 30, you know your parents are like? Your parents are like the next person that comes to the house. They're like, has he got 2 eyes? Yes. Has he got 2 legs? Yes. Oh, that's fine. He'll do. 2 eyes, 2 legs, that's enough. They'll drop everything from the list. Anyway, you're now thinking, well, how do I now go about finding, the person? There are many platforms to find the person, right? And very briefly, I'm going to tell you very briefly, I know there's traditional ways of finding someone that is good, alhamdulillah, brilliant. Fine. If you can find someone through contacts, through people who know their lives and so on, that's the best way. That's the best way. And I'll tell you one thing, in the Sharia, it's wajib, it's compulsory for you to talk about an entire person's character. If someone comes to you and says, I want to marry him, or I want to marry her, and you know their character, it's compulsory on you to tell them the whole character. They should keep the secret, that they should not give your name away, who said this, but you have to talk about the goods and bads of that person. Otherwise that person could run into some situation where they're not happy tomorrow. But you have all sorts of things, like you have right now online as well, people are finding their marriages. I'm going to tell you that 70% of people online are not that genuine, okay? They're either there to scam you, or they're there to have a fun time ride. Like a lot of, I'm just telling you the stats out there, very rough stats, but about 70% of people online, there's kind of, especially from the women's side, there's more scammers, and from the men's side, there's more daters. Those who want to date, who don't want to actually get married, who don't want to settle down, okay? So as a sister, how do you go ahead? Well, if you actually fill in your profile, your bio, and put at the bottom your father's name, or put your father's number, so that will sort out the scammers and sort out the people out there that want to just date you. So basically when he starts calling and says, hi there, your dad's going to say, hey, Kikure, hey, who's that, right? So it stops all of that rubbish. It stops the nonsense. So if you want to be clever about it, please do that. Otherwise, you're going for a ride somewhere. You've got a 70-30 kind of risk that you're going for a ride. Same as men. A lot of men, they don't understand that unfortunately, these are not genuine, people out there. They just want to take your money. Right? Unfortunately, there's about 70% of them out there, more or less. They want to just try and get whatever they can off you. Anyway, but online, 30% is genuine. I don't want you to disregard online because of that 70%. There's actually, the number is growing of the amount of people who are finding their marriages online. But if you ever find it online, look, you've got to still do all your background research. Right? You meet the person, okay, fine, you've got to now go to the locality, you've got to go to the, people who know them. You've got to find out a lot about them. One thing I'm going to tell you to do is this. I want you to note this website down, right? And this will give you a lot of platform of asking the right type of questions about the character of the other person. Because this test is going to reveal your character and is going to reveal their character. This test has no right answers. So don't try and become Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect. You're going to mess it all up, okay? So www.16personalities, that's 16 personalities. Okay, I've spelled it for you because we're in Whitechapel. I'm sorry. Personalities, okay, so personalities.com. You go there at the top of the page on the right hand corner, you'll see this button, take the test. Don't take the test right now. I know you're dying to get married, but not now. Do it later on. When you take the test, it's only a 12-minute test, and then she takes the test. What you've got is you've got all your strengths and weaknesses that will be displayed, as long as you agree to 80% of the contents, about 80% of the contents. Because if you're thinking, well, now that's only 60% of me, then it's not right. You've not done the test right, or it's not you, or you're an outlier. There are some outliers that are in between two different characters, okay? So this test has been around for almost 100 years. They've really enhanced it. This particular site has done a fantastic job. They've had hundreds and thousands of people who've taken the test, hundreds and thousands of testimonies that they've got. I've even taken my test on that. I've got so many different people to take the test on that. And what it does is it gives you a platform to ask these questions. Okay? So you can be better at saying, okay, your character thing says this. Is this true about you? And if it is, can you explain it any further? And some of you are like, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. Well, why? Because when we get married, we put in a room with another woman in a room where there's nobody else for 10 minutes, where you're kind of wondering, what am I doing here? And she's like, oh my God, what is this? Is it going to be abuse, what it is? Next minute they take him out, they take her out, they're like, are you ready? What? What they're really trying to say to you is this: are you ready to spend the rest of your entire life with this person based on the 10 minutes that you looked at her? You're like, what? 10 minutes looking at the exterior, you want me to make a lifetime decision? I feel like saying to them, when did you buy a house, and go to the exterior of the house and say, oh, look at that double glazing, oh, looking fantastic. Oh, let's look around here, oh, drain pipe is coming down very nice. Okay, we're going to pay £300,000 for this house. Oh, exterior is very, very good. When did you do that? When did the person buy a car and look at the tint from the outside, never go for a drive, never go on the inside, never see it, right? I'm not asking you to drive her before marriage, you know what I'm trying to say, like, guys, yeah? Don't get too excited, okay? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. But when did you ever go and get something from the exterior? Or when did you go for an actual interview, okay? You sit in the interview and your to-be employer who's interviewing you looks at you and looks at you and looks at you and says, I'm so happy, Mr. Abdul. I'm going to give you the job because I like the way you look. When did you ever find that? You know, arranged marriages, you know when they really worked? Shall I tell you when they worked? They worked back home when the entire village knew the girl from birth till 20-something. And the entire village knew the boy. In another village, they knew the boy from birth till about 20-something. So they knew their childhood life, they knew their school life, they knew them in the marketplaces, they saw them how they were. And then they said, you know what, these villagers said, you know what, we think that will be a good match for this person, so let's move ahead with this. That kind of arranged marriage, I'm for. You know why? Because if you went from this village to that village, you could find an entire generation of people who knew this person, people who played with this person, people who had arguments with this person, people who were, in dispute with this person, people who traveled with this person. All these people were there. And that's a very good basis to have an arranged marriage. You don't have to talk to her. You can just talk to all these other people and get her character. You don't have to talk to him. Talk to his villagers and you get his whole character. But you can't do that in this day and age in the Western world. You can't do that. So how do you expect someone to sit there for 10 minutes, look at someone and say yes for the rest of their life? Some brother said to me on this tour, he said, my time, just recently, 2 years ago, his parents gave him half an hour to ask her questions. Do you know what? 2 years later, he's actually divorced. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. He's divorced. Because he said, look, what she said in that half an hour, she wasn't that after the half an hour. I'm not saying just about sisters, saying same with the men. Because what do you expect the person to do? They're going to be on the best behavior, best character. You've got to be able to get through all of that. So what do you need? I'm telling you, get the mahram of the sister in front, okay, sitting there. And then you ask whatever questions you want. You can have whatever sessions you want. You can have how many sessions you want. Ask both of you ask questions. Ask about life, ask about ambitions, ask about how you want to do things, ask about situations, ask about, scenarios, whatever it is, right? You should know how to ask a question. A sister was like, how do I ask questions? I mean, sister, you don't say to him, you don't say, do you get angry? What's he supposed to say? Yeah, sometimes I'm like Incredible Hulk. You want to test me, sister? Just bang the table and see how I rip my shirt right now. Yeah? And I bang everything else in the house. You think he's going to say that to you? And if the guy at the moment when you say to him, brother, do you ever get angry? And he says, no, sister, I never get angry. Okay? If the guy ever says that, dump him. Because he's not telling you the truth. How you're supposed to put the question is this. You're supposed to say, can you tell me the last time you got angry, what happened in that situation and how did you react and what actually happened? A scenario-based question. That's what you do. Try and take the character, try and take the moral, whatever you want, put it in a scenario and say, when's the last time this ever happened? Can you tell me about that? So that's better. So what you want to do is you want to be in a situation where you're able to ask these questions to one another. And this whole thing about arranged marriage, look, I'm not for this short, term arranged marriage, whatever it is, and then to make a decision for the rest of their life based on this one or two looks. Because it's not just the outer that we should look at. The Prophet ﷺ said, look, he said, you can get married for 4 reasons. About the woman, he said it, but you can apply it to the man. He said you can get married because of the beauty. You can get married because of wealth, okay, of their wealth. You can get married because of the lineage or the bongsho or the khandan or whatever you want to call it, okay? Or you can get married because of the religious side. And he said, choose the religious side. Meaning that make sure that you've got the religious side and anything else with it, that's fine, right? Having someone handsome, having someone pretty, I understand it's important. It's not the number one do or die thing, right? I understand you've got to have them being to some degree beautiful that they attract you. Otherwise, after the wedding night, you're going to wake up, look at her, oh God, I'm in a nightmare. Or look at him and think that you wish you were asleep for the rest of your life, right? The thing is, it's not a do or die thing. You need to have them, someone who's going to attract you, that's fine. But the religious side needs to be given full priority. Our parents, everybody else, tell me true or not, if it's not shundor, if it's not beautiful, they're not even going to entertain it. Yes or no, guys, tell me. Come on. Oh, you have something different here in East London, do you? Am I right, am I wrong? Right, that's wrong, some brothers. Okay, that's good. In your house, mashallah, you're very blessed there, right? You can go for whatever you want, but look, beauty's gonna go away after a while. The thing that will stay is the religious side. It gets better and better. Let me talk about the religious side. The Prophet ﷺ, when he said religious side, he didn't mean just Muslim. If you say, oh yeah, they're Muslim, and therefore I'm gonna go for beauty and put beauty there and everything else. No. Not just being Muslim. He said a deen. He said deen, which means religion. What is religion? Religion is that you're a religious person. That you're actually giving you're actually practicing religion. Let me give you a scenario. What would you like to be with? A person who's very, very nice, good looking, but when you're with them, they actually, look down on you. They actually treat you like trash. They actually don't give you any credit. Or would you like to be with someone who's not so good looking, but at the same time, they actually look up to you. They like you, they admire you. Which one, the first or the second? Oh my God, 20 people spoke. First or second? Thank you. So break this thing. Look, you want them to be nice and good looking, but that's not do or die, because there are a lot of people out there. Look, if you find patience in a person, that is gold. You can't get anything better than gold or diamond. Patience, shukr, being appreciative. These are the best qualities you can have in a person. Akhlaq, great character. Someone who's not going to ruin your life. Someone you can actually trust. Someone who's going to be humble. These are the best characters you can have. Someone who's not jealous. Someone who's not arrogant. Someone who's not snobbish. Someone who doesn't cause arguments all the time. That's the best type of person you can find. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, go for that side. Because these things, the more years you stay with them, the better it's going to become. These things never fade away, subhanallah. If someone's got sabr, they will have sabr for a long time in their life, right? If someone's got the beauty, it's going to fade away. Today they're beautiful, tomorrow they got a few wrinkles. Next day they got a few white hairs, then their bones are getting weak, then they're getting slow in life. It's all going to go. Wealth goes sometimes, okay? And other things might go away, but the religious side is the best thing you can go for. So I'm telling you, when you're looking for someone, okay, and you wanna get married, I have to say this one thing before I carry on, sorry. Some of you are like, okay, as soon as we've made the kind of proposal thing, we're gonna basically exchange numbers. If you exchange numbers, there's 2 of you that are in a secret chat in whichever platform you want to look at, online, social media, whatever it might be. There's 2 of you together, secret, and the third amongst you, according to the Prophet ﷺ, is the shaitan, right? The shaitan's going to stir your emotions. So it's very dangerous to give that phone number out, that email address, whatever it might be. It's very dangerous to do that. Anyway, let's move ahead now. You found a person, now you've got to go ahead with your big sort of day. Everyone wants their wedding day to be their best day of their life. And I'm telling you right now, you know what the Prophet ﷺ said? He said, when you spend the least on your walima, it brings you the greatest amount of barakah, of blessings. Right? And what do we do? Subhanallah, we got to spend minimum 20,000 pounds on this wedding. Yes, guys, yes or no? 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. Some are like, put it on. They're like sitting there for the mahar thing, right? Put down the 50,000. Yeah, gonna make me look big. I'm gonna go to all my friends and say, my daughter, her mahar was 50,000. What was yours? What? They don't want to give 50,000, sister. I'm just telling you that now. If you want to give just 5,000, put 5,000. Don't just add another zero to make yourself look tough. Right? If you're going to give it, you give it. We've got grandmothers in Bangladesh who are on their deathbeds. They never received the mahar till today from 50 years ago. And I'm being serious with you. We've got grandmothers who passed away and never got their mahar. If you're serious about the mahar, then give it. Give whatever you want. I don't mind. 20,000, 30,000, whatever you want to put. But if you wanna, not give it, then please put down what you can actually afford, right? And what you're actually going to give. And what they do is, subhanAllah, they want this big hall. They want to fit all the 300 people inside in one hall at one time. What? And then what they want to do is they want to add on all these other things. Like, for example, the chairs. Have you seen the chairs? Have you seen the chairs in a nikah hall? They will charge you £3 per chair to put a niqab over the chair. I'm like, that white niqab on the chair, I'm going to pay £3 for that. Right? Then they want to charge you for everything else, the stage, the decor, whatnot, okay? You're paying ridiculous amounts of prices for nothing. And by the end of it, tell me true or not, the chicken tikka in most weddings comes cold and hard. Yes or no? Go on, tell me, guys. Yes? Yes? And the kebab, when you look at it, is like a pipe that you could fix in your house. Rubber pipe. It's cold. Most people are even complaining about the curries and whatnot that you bought, because the thing is, we advertise for 1:30, but we actually mean 3:30, don't we? You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah? Food's gone cold, things weren't given on time, whatever. People go away, oh yeah, fine. You've cooked 7 dishes, this and that, blown 20,000 pounds away, and you're feeling really high today. I'll give you a better idea. I'll give you a much better idea of how to do the whole thing within £2,000. The whole thing. And fit 300 people in. You ready? Number one is you have it in the masjid. You have the whole thing in the masjid. You have it on the floor, you put these dastakhans out, you roll them out, get people to sit on the floor and eat. Behave, bro. Don't complain. Alright? Sit on the floor and eat. Sisters can, sit in a hall, function hall, whatever you want to put, right, very humble next to the masjid. But you know what? If you think that's still going to be expensive, I'll give you a better idea. Have it in your house. You're going to be, oh my God, how are we going to have it in our house? Well, I'll give you an idea. You hold it on the bank holiday. Okay, so you got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So now what you do in Saturday, lunchtime 50 people. Evening 50 people. Sunday 50, 50, Monday 50, 50, 300. Quick maths. 300 people over 3 days. And then what you do is have a marquee in your back garden. Have a marquee in your back garden, fit 50 people like that, and have one curry. One dish. You're going to say to them, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. If somebody ever complains on that day, you know that cold chicken tikka, stuff in the mouth. Or say to him, you've come over here, you want to eat, you can't get food anywhere else. Honestly, what's wrong with one dish? You know what the Prophet ﷺ said? You know how simple it's supposed to be. You know how difficult we've made it and how simple it's supposed to be. We Bengalis have made it the most difficult out of everybody. We've got this first function is sinifan. It's like the sweetener of the mouth, right? So they have to have a whole family coming together, about 50 people, called sinifan, and you've got to sit there, formalities to the max, 7 curries, whatever, I don't know what goes on in there, because I've never had one. And then after that, the next function is the women decide one day to kick out all the men from the house, and they want to paint themselves. It's called mendi. It's like, I've never abused myself, and neither has she, but we're just going to do it to each other. We're going to paint each other yellow all over. I'm going to call it a nice joyful day. So you got another whole function of giving all this money. Adnan, before that, they had Gaya Holo. That was like nuts. The women used to get together, get some turmeric and throw it on each other. I'm like, what? Are you nuts? Most of these things, do you realize, in the Bengali culture came from the Hindus in Greater India. They've got most of these things came from them. Right? And then that's function number 2. Function number 3 is going to be the nikah day. You're going to have a massive feast. Function number 4 is going to be walima, massive feast again. Are you all like, thinking, yeah, we did it. We just blew 30,000 pounds. Are you crazy or something? The Prophet ﷺ said, he said, when we have a nikah, sorry, he never said, but he used to do this, okay? In a nikah, in his time, it used to be done in a masjid. And after the nikah, they used to give just dates. Just dates. Nothing else. £10, bro. Bro, are you listening? £20 max. You can buy a big box of kajur and dates and give them out. And then you consummate the marriage, you have your walima. He said, if you can afford it, then you sacrifice a goat. Just one is enough. And people who couldn't afford it, they just publicized the nikah. You know what they used to do in Medina? They used to hire these people with drums, and they used to beat the drums outside on the streets, and they used to announce that so-and-so has got married to so-and-so, so-and-so has got married to so-and-so. The main thing about nikah is to publicize it. The food is something that we put so much on the thing that we've actually ruined the whole thing. And I'm going to tell you where to put that money. You've just saved yourself £20,000. You're going to say, well, what do we do with the money? I'm going to give you a brilliant idea. You sisters, you brothers, by the time you finish university, you've already got £27,000 debt. You want to go for Hajj these days? You're looking at £5,000 each. Starters. You want to go and get a deposit of your house? You're looking at £20,000, £30,000. Where are you going to find it? Well, you know the £20,000, £30,000 they're going to blow at your wedding? Convince them to try and save that right on your wedding card. We, the proud parents of Shumoli and Mr. Lesumia, we are going to save £20,000 by having a simple wedding in our house with a marquee in the background. And then we're going to give that entire £20,000 to Shumoli and Lesu for their future house, right? For their deposit. And some of you are thinking, no, my dad's never going to allow that. Because my dad wants me and my 2 brothers, and I've still got 2 sisters in the house, for me to get married and all of us live in this 3-bedroom house. Doesn't that happen? Yes or no? Tell me. Yeah. Yes, does it happen? Yes or no? Yeah. I'm like, geezer, man. Do the maths. You've got Mr. Lesumia that's just got married. He's got his brother Khodumia. Right? And his other brother Lebumia. Now what happens is Lesu got married, he's going to have 3 kids. Right? So he's going to have to fit them in that 1 bedroom. You and your wife have moved downstairs already. Fine. Khodumia, he's got a big appetite. You know what I'm saying? He's big. He's going to have 5 kids. Right? So 5 and 3 is going to be 8. Lebumia hasn't even started in life. And you're still trying to make little extension here, little extension there, get everybody to live together. I'm thinking, are you crazy or nuts or something? One day you're going to have to let them go. So why don't you plan ahead and let them go ahead by saving and investing their money? I just don't understand. I'm like trying to say a little bit in Bangla. Tomorrow, what should be done? Like, you got something wrong in your head. Where are you going to put that? Where you got the space in the house? We've always stayed like that together in Bangladesh. I'm like, have you got the space of Bangladesh here in a small house in the middle of E1 with 3 bedrooms? Have you got the space for that? No, you haven't. Let them go off. Let them find their own places. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ, when he got Fatima and Ali radiallahu anhuma married off, he actually gave them a separate house. Do you know that Ali radiallahu anhu was living in his house? His daughter obviously is in his house. Ali was also living in his house. And he gave them a separate house and he made them independent from day number 1. And that's what you should do. Give them an independent life. The more independent life they have, the better it's going to become for them. So anyway, this whole wedding thing, I think is going to become nuts for people because they just want to spend all that money on nothing. They're wasting their money. I'm asking you to start a new trend. Write on the wedding cards that you're going to save the money and you're going to give it to their future deposit or whatever they need. It's a very honorable thing to do. Who thinks it's a good idea? Put your hands up. Good. Who's going to actually get it done now? Put your hands up. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And bless you. Look, I want to add one more thing to this, because a brother came to me the other day and he said to me after an event, he said, Shaykh, he said, look, I've really tried to have a very simple wedding, but my parents are not going to have it. They want that whole, they want everything. They're going to blow that money away and they're going to go for it. I said, brother, just calm down, just let go of it. He said, look, what should I do? He said, my friends are saying to me, stay hard. I said, listen, your friends are not the ones that are going to lose that girl. Right? If you like the girl, if you want to get married to the girl, and your parents are very cultural and they're against you, then you know what? Put your head down, let them have their way. You've given your dawah, you've done your bit. The rest of it is on them, it's on their heads. Right? Do you guys understand? Don't go too hard with cultural people. They will ruin your entire wedding on a silly thing. You know how silly I'm talking about? You want to hear how silly? There was in Leeds, real story, they had a bust up on the wedding day, because the groom's lot said we ordered lamb biryani and the bride side said we ordered chicken biryani. When the food came, he was one of the two and the other party had a kickoff. Do you know how another one ended? I'm not making this up. In the Midlands, real case, okay? You know what they do on these wedding days? They make you dress like something. They make the man dress like, he looks like Aladdin. He's got Aladdin shoes with curled up, front. And the guy can't even walk. Have you seen? They haven't got even any sponge in those shoes. They're complete straight wood with nails sticking out. I'm not joking. I've never worn them, but I've seen them. And the guy's like, Ozu Khortam, I want to do wudu. And you know how tight his trousers are? When he lifts his leg, he's never going to want to lift it up again, bruv. Split straight down there, there's an M1 that can be seen. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, that's how tight his trousers are. There was the sister as well. You're there, you're looking like some kind of doll. Like you got this earring here, this in our nose ring, God knows what else, right? You painted all over, you can't even move. And each time you move, it hurts you. Like, I'm telling you, and these sisters, when they walk, right, they're on high heels as well. They're like, oh my God, am I going to get through this? Their dress is long as well. They're hoping that no one's going to trip over it. Right? And they make you dress with all this fancy kind of stuff, right? And all to do with what? Then they're going to make you sit down, all the cameramen, all the paparazzi, Asian paparazzi come in front with all the cameras and everything. They want to take pictures of you sticking a laddu in her mouth, and she's going to stick a gulab jam in your mouth. Right? So this is really happened, right? She stuck the laddu in his mouth, and they're all going to take pictures and go, yeah. Losers. Anyway, they're going to stick it in her mouth. And you know what he did? He picked up the gulab jam and he was going to put it in her mouth, and a bit of the juice fell onto her clothing. Oh my days. Oh my days. And she actually, you know what she said? She got so angry. She turned around and she said, go and say sorry. Say sorry. He said sorry sometimes. He said sorry. So she said, no, I want you to say sorry on the mic. Real case. Honestly, I couldn't believe it when this happened. A real case. And you know what he did? Na'udhu billahi min dhalik. He's another fool, right? He actually got up and na'udhu billah, he actually said the 3 words to get rid of it on the wedding day. Serious. This is a real case. Just happened in 2018. It's everyone was shocked. Everyone was shocked. Because she said that you better say on the mic to everyone. He said, no, I don't want to say on the mic, I'm embarrassed. She's like, I'm embarrassed in front of all these cameras, all that. Silly things people are getting stuck up on because of all this culture, because of all this cultural stuff that they have, okay? People are fighting over what? One small thing, like a brother said to me, small thing that happened. I mean, you got things, barriers to even go over. Like brother said to me, in one of the events here, he said that, no, brother, he said, I want to get married to a Bengali sister, So what are you? He's a Pakistani. I said, listen, they're going to say 1971. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be stuck in their heads. Another brother said to me, I want to, he said, I'm Afghan. I think he was Bengali, something, but he wanted to get married to an Afghani girl or something. I said, listen, if the dad was here, you know what he said? Hamari beti ko tumko nahi dega. Agar udhar hota to hum AK-47 leke tumhara sar uda deta. I'll blow your head off over there. Like some of them are really, really culturally sort of stuck. So you better be careful. Don't go on trying to challenge them in their culture. I know your Islam is right. I know you're preaching the truth. But you can't They will treat their culture greater than their religion. When it comes to because you know what it is, end of the day, it's like manchi kita hoiba. What are people going to say? Everything's based on what are people going to say. Even when they take the mitai, have you seen the Bengalis take some mishti to the proposed house? Instead of taking 1 or 2 kg to them, they'll take 20 kg. I'm like, do you want the family to die of diabetes or something? Do you want to kill them off? Like what? No. We want to show that we're big. Everything's going to be big. Everything's going to be bold. Everything's like, yeah, put my name out there. What? What's wrong with you, man? Wasting all that money just to put your name up there. Be humble, spend less, and be a happy person. Anyway, the whole wedding thing can be a lot simpler if you make it simple yourself. Stick to the sunnah. And if you can't get it through, look, just give up. Now, I want to get to the next part, which is this. You, alhamdulillah, you are now married. Okay? Now your wedding day, all that palaver, everything is over. Now the main thing is how you're going to make this marriage last for the rest of your life. Everybody's looking for love. And everybody thinks they know what love is. Love is not saying, I love you. Love is not the 14th of February. Okay, Valentine's Day. Oh my God, I got some roses. And that is what love is. Love is not just, sharing some moments with someone. No. Love is your commitment to someone consistently over and over again over a long period of time. That is what love is. That's what creates a love. You got to find love in what? What did I say? Your commitment to someone consistently over and over again, over a long period of time. That is what love is. Love is not created just like that. People think, oh, we've had a lovely wedding, she's looking nice, he's looking nice, this and that, everything's going to go really well. No, sorry, that's not love created them. Sorry. All the presents you've exchanged, that doesn't make you love a person. Love is commitment to one another consistently, again and again, with the things you do for them again and again, with the times that you've done all those little things for them over and over again, over time, or large things you did for them. That's what love is. Now you're going to tell me, okay, so how do we make a marriage last? I'm going to tell you, subhanAllah, I've come across this research. This researcher found the men, if they find this one thing in the woman, no matter what turbulence they've got, they're not going to leave the woman. And the women, if you find this one thing in the man, no matter what turbulence you go through, you're not going to leave the man. So there's one thing that if the woman has, the man is like, whatever's gone wrong, doesn't matter, I'm going to patch this thing out, I'm going to stay together for life. And doesn't matter what happens the other way, the same I'm saying for the sisters. Do you want to know what that special one ingredient is that you really need to have in a woman or a man, yes or no?
Yes.
I think that was the same brother earlier. That was like, I'm shorter and I'm also, younger. Yeah. Anyway, can I hear, please, one brother can't speak on behalf of everyone, okay? Are you ready to know that one ingredient, yes or no?
Yes.
That's good. What every sister wants in her man is she wants her man to be, and I'm seeing right now so many phones went up, Allahu Akbar. They're like, tell us, we want this ingredient. Okay, so what every sister wants in a man is she wants her man to give her security, to give her long-term stability, to be her guardian, to be her protector, to be the one that when she needs him, he's there. She wants a man to be strong, not only strong on the outside, not only like sons are out and guns are out, right? Yes, strong on the outside if you can, but most importantly, strong on the inside. She wants her man to be a man, all right? She wants him to give her that long-term security, stability, make her feel that she's got nothing to worry about. Am I right, sisters?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, what every man wants in a woman is peace. Guys, do you agree?
Yes!
Do you see that? You both agree. Oh my God, it's the first time in the history of men and women that they both agree on different things. You know what? This research is actually a research he did. He looked at the ancient marriages, he looked at traditional marriages, he looked at recent marriages, he looked at current marriages, and he came up with this. And when I looked in the Quran, I found, wow, that is so deep, because the Quran has already said it. The Quran already said it. Let me tell you. First is look in Surah number 4, ayah number 34. Allah says, وَبِمَا أَنفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. Allah said the man has to spend his money on the woman. He has to give her security. He has to give her shelter. He has to give her food. He has to give her clothing. Doesn't matter if the woman has got her clothing, food, whatever, doesn't matter. He has to still provide. That is an obligation he put on the man. And then if you look in Surah Qasas, you find Musa alayhi salam, he was running away from Fir'aun. He comes to a place where he sees two girls waiting with their flock, and there's a whole bunch of men that are quenching the thirst of their flock, and he wonders why the women don't go ahead and quench, get water for their flock. So he went up to them and said, what's wrong with you? They said, look, we can't go inside there because the men keep on pushing in, and we're just two women, we've only got a father. So Musa alayhi salam got up, he told those men off, he went in there, he took his one arm, lifted the lid from the well, he got the water, he quenched the thirst of the flock, and then he went back to the shade of the tree where he was sitting. The two women went back home early. This is in the Quran, in Surah Qasas. Surah number 28. The father sent one of the girls back. She came and she said, she came walking very, very modestly, and she said, my father's called you to our house. He wants to see you. So he got up, okay, now he's on his conveyance, she's on her conveyance. What's supposed to happen is, she's supposed to lead the way because she knows the way. She's the host, he's the guest. But no, he said no. He said, I want to go ahead, you go behind me because I don't want my eyes to fall on you. Right? So she guided him from behind till they came to the house. And then when he said his story of what happened in Fir'aun's palace, when he said that to the father heard his daughter say, Ya abad istajirhu, oh my father, he's she said, employ him. One of the best people you can employ is a person who is innahu laqawiyyun amin. He is number one, really strong, and number two, he's trustworthy. She says strong because she saw his willpower, how strong he was to get up and tell those men and so on. And then he was strong in lifting that lid up. He had strength on the outside, strength on the inside, and he was trustworthy. Why? Because he said, I don't want my eyes to fall on you. Straight away his father offered the daughters to him, one of the daughters, whichever one he wanted. He married her, and they were married. That was his wife. That's how he met his wife. Alayhi salatu, that's how Musa met his wife. So you can see the two qualities that he said. And when you look at the woman, what did Allah say in the Holy Quran in Surah Rum, Surah number 30, ayah number 21? He said, Huwa alladhi khalaqa lakum min anfusikum azwaja. He is the one who has created for you your other halves, litaskunu ilayha, so that you can find with her peace. You know what I'm saying, my sister? Now you're still not convinced. Let me tell you how he says that. Look, the reason why is because these men, they don't have peace. We look at our other halves, we want the thing we don't have. Look, boys are different from girls. Look, I'm for women's equal rights. Don't get me wrong. You're going to say to me, Shaykh, you're like crossing the line now. No, I'm not crossing the line. I'm for women's equal rights, for their equal rights to own properties, to have votes, for their equal rights to get job opportunities, equal rights to get, the same pay and so on. I'm for you in everything. But when you turn around to me and say that the man and woman have been created exactly equal to one another, as if we've been created to compete with one another, that, my friend, is a lie. Men and women are different. They've been created not to compete with each other, but to complement one another. We give one another the thing that we don't have. So when you look, let me tell you how it works, okay? I've got two boys in my house and I've got one girl. Those of you who've got nephews and nieces that grew up in front of you, or who've got a son or daughter that's grown up in front of you, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Right, it's good. Even nephew, niece, good. Right, you'll know what I'm trying to say. The girl is different from the boy. My daughter, when she was young, mashallah, and most girls are like this. You put her on the floor, she just plays. Aww. She gets the coloring pens and she just colors. You put her on the sofa, she just watches TV. Aww. She doesn't cry, she doesn't shout, she doesn't anything, she just sits and just watches it. Put her on daddy's lap, she wants to kiss daddy. You put her on daddy's arm, she wants to hug daddy. Right, that's what she wants to do. Her brother, he's born, he jumps out, he's looking for a fight. He's like, he grabs those coloring pens off her, it's like they're mine. Then his other brother, he wants to basically have a fight. Tell me this, yes or no, most of our boys in our houses, they always play fight. Yes, come on, tell yes or no. Look, let me take you further. They're always having fights. The girls don't do that. The girls are just sitting there. They're wondering, those odd boys, man, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? You put the boys to school, they still come home by fighting. The girls don't come home fighting. Most of them don't. Some of them might, but most of them don't. You see the reports. Which reports are better? The girls' reports or the boys' reports? Girls. Guys. Agree with me, your turn's coming. Agree with me. No, I'm serious. Tell me this, right? GCSE's results. Girls are better or the boys? Girls, all of us should be quiet. The girls are always better. Be quiet. And then what happens is, you look at the crimes that are in the world. Most murders, most robberies, most of the crimes on this earth by male or female? Male. Prison population. What's higher, male or female? Male. Most of the wars created on this earth and battles created by who? Men or women? Men, unanimous is men. They've created the wars, they've created the battles. They are out there. When the man walks out, he's like, hey, who are you, huh? I'm bigger than you, huh? He just wants to prove himself. So when a man is like that, he's always like, wanting to fight and bustle and everything else is out there. When he comes home, he wants to come home to his gentle missus. He wants his missus to look at him and say, oh, my big cat, come over here. Oh, my big cat, come over here. Let me look at those scars that you've got. Let me wipe those scars for you. You've had a bad day, big cat. No problem, my gentle voice is going to soothe you. I'm going to make you so nice. Let me give you a cup of tea right now. Let me talk to you. Let me just stroke you. Let me just make you feel so warm. That's what he wants to hear when he comes home. He doesn't want to come home. As soon as he comes home, she's like, are you back? If you're back, then the trash can is there by the door. I've left it for you to take out to the rest of the garbage. And when you come inside, the sink has been overflowing with the dishes and the lawn needs mowing. And I'm going for a nap right now. And if by the time I wake up, it's not done, oh my days. Oh my days. You're getting no goodie today. Right? You're getting no foodie tonight, and then by night time you're not getting no goodie, and tomorrow you're getting no cookie, getting nothing. When a woman fights, it's always different. Have you seen a woman fight? You know what the woman's fight is? A woman doesn't fight with her fists. A woman fights like this. When a woman looks like that, that's her fight. They're different. They're different from us. If you're going to say, well, I'm still not convinced. Look, Allah's created us as opposites. We need each other. We have things the other person doesn't have. That's why we're the opposite. It's like the night and the day. The day is different from the night. The night is different from the day. If the day and night were to get into an argument, it's like, who's better? The night's going to say, well, you are so bright, your sun burns everything. The day's going to say, well, you look dark. Right? The night's going to say, well, at least I'm calm. The day's going to say, well, at least I'm bustling and people find their livelihoods. The night's going to say, well, people need a rest inside me. The day's going to say, well, at least when they come to me, they go for the holidays. The night's going to say, when they come to me, they find a lot of peace. Whatever it is, you're going to find the night and day arguing with one another. It's never going to get sorted out. Why? Because they're different from one another. They are there to complement one another. The night's not supposed to be the day. The day's not supposed to be the night. So if you want to have a long, peaceful marriage, I'm going to ask you to get this book really. You're going to say to me, well, okay, where's some of this info that you're talking about in terms of, this relationship and so on that's going on? Because some of you are going to say, well, we're not having any of that, right? There's a really good book written by a feminist. She was a very staunch feminist. Then she decided this is her book. It's a one-off book. I think it's sold worldwide. It's been like a bestseller, and it's been critiqued as well. Don't get me wrong, it's been critiqued, but a lot of women have actually found that book to save their marriages, and a lot of men have actually found that the whole marriage has turned around again after this woman wrote this book. Her name is Laura Doyle, Doyle, and her book's name is The Surrendered Wife. The Surrendered Wife. She was a feminist. She said, her book starts off like this, that she said that her relationship with her husband was getting torn apart. And then she decided to do something different. So in the beginning of the book, she actually says this. She says that the method she's going to say next is not for abusive husbands. It's not someone who's giving you physical abuse or giving you mental abuse or not looking after your children, or somebody who actually doesn't look after you or doesn't actually have any care for you. It's not about that. It's about some, just decent husbands who are doing their bit, and you as a person, as a woman, you feel that, you know what, they're not that ambitious at work, they haven't got the romance in their life, they're not cleaning up after themselves. These are the things that go through your head. And then you're criticizing him because he's not getting this right, he's not getting that right. You're driving with him, you're saying we should have taken that left. I told you so and so on. And you keep on telling him how he needs to, manage himself and manage his finances and whatever it is. And these are the things she says in the book. That made her whole marriage be strained, because it was killing the man's ego off. When Allah Azza wa Jal said to the man that it's his obligation to spend on you, to protect you, to be your guardian, it's like that knight in the shining armor that you were looking for. That was your harmonious relationship. So when that guy comes and he's like, I want to be there to help you, to protect you, he wants you to say, yes, I feel protected. I feel that you've given me what I want. I feel secure. I feel thank you for all the things that you've given me. And I'm going to do my little bits to make you happy. But thank you for giving my long-term respect, long-term security, whatever I need, long-term, whatever I need. Thank you for giving me that, right? So that's the harmonious relationship that you need. When the moment is like a knight in the shining armor and he comes to, I've protected you, you're like, I can protect myself. Don't need you. Well, anyway, you're going to get your done thing. I'm equal to, I've got enough. You think you're strong, but I'm strong too. I've got my family behind me. You got your family behind you? Yeah, you got your bachelor's degree. I've got a master's degree. He's like, I got PhD, permanent head damage. You know what they say about marriage? They say marriage is when a bachelor loses his degree. Right? The men lose their bachelor degree. Sorry, the men lose their bachelor degree and the woman gains her master's degree. And then after that he gets a PhD, the permanent head damage, right? But no, let's just say, for example, this whole thing has gone to a vicious circle. You know what it needs? It needs you to give each other space. One thing Laura Dole mentions in her book is, look, as a woman, she's still got feminist traits in her. That's her thing. And what she says is, you women need to find your own self-respect. You need to find your own area. You need to do the things that keep you happy. And you cannot hang every happiness on his head. That's when it goes wrong. Some brother said, oh my God. I hope I'm not opening wounds tonight. No, honestly, you have to find your own happiness. She talks about this, like find your own happiness, like find your own space, And when you want to say, when there's a line to draw, you draw the line. She talks about all of this in the book. Right? But one thing is, stop controlling him. Stop trying to kill off his ego, because that's what's going to break the relationship. And with the man, what I want to say is, guys, don't just sit around lazy home, whatever, do nothing. You got to bring that, all those monies and financial things and everything to the home, and you got to do your bit. You got to show that you're there as the man. When you do that, alhamdulillah, right? Alhamdulillah, when you do that, if you're going to start becoming, people who don't do anything, then of course she's going to complain. And especially when it comes to, she actually mentions one thing in her book. She says that, look, when it comes to verbal abuse, it can be a two-way street. Because what happens normally is, with arguments, when we get to arguments, it's not just a one-way street. Normally people say to you, oh, he said that to me, he said that to me, she said that to me, she said that to me. Well, what did you say back? If you said anything back, it's a two-way street. If the other person kept on speaking, and you said quiet, then it was a one-way street. Then I can understand that the other person is very abusive, verbally abusive. But if you're going to be saying things back, then it's going to make it a two-way street. I'm going to tell you the one thing of how to stop arguments. You can stop all arguments. Let me first ask you, any man here, any woman here who's been married for more than 1 year and you've never had an argument with your spouse, ever, put your hand up. No one. When I was in Bradford, this sister actually put her hand up. Wow, I said, mashallah. Everyone say mashallah. So mashallah. Honestly, I said mashallah. I said, sister, how long have you been married? She said 4 years. Takbir! And then I asked her a question. I said, sister, where's your husband? She said, in Pakistan. I was like, sister, you're sitting here in Bradford, Your husband's in Pakistan for 4 years. No wonder there's no arguments happening. Oh my God. I was like, I was in a total shock. I was saying, MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, MashaAllah. I couldn't stop. And then after that, I asked the question, so, how do you stop arguments between man and woman? Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah, he had a 40-year marriage. His wife passed away and then he cried. His disciples asked about him crying. He said, I never had an argument, a single argument in the entire 40 years I was married to her. Say subhanallah. Honestly, this is a record. Record. So they said, how did you manage? He said, every time I got angry with her, she took it on herself to zip herself up. I was saying things to her she never liked. She took it on herself to keep herself quiet until I've calmed down. Then we spoke nicely to each other. Every time she got angry with me, I took it on myself to zip myself up. I stayed quiet. She said things to me I never liked. I stayed quiet until she calmed down, and then we spoke nicely. So what are you going to do when the other person has an argument with you?
Zip it up.
About 5 people said that. La hawla wa la quwwata. What are you going to do when the other person gets angry with you? Zip up. Was that so hard to say that, sister? You can say it, and brother, was that hard to say that? Let me hear it once more. Because look, there's a parda in between you. No one can see who's saying what. So you can get away with the cameras are looking this way as well. Every time they have an argument, what are you going to do?
Zip it up.
Zip it up. That's good. So brothers, when you're downstairs and your wife's having a go at you, where are you going to go?
Upstairs.
Upstairs, that's it. Good. And then she's going to follow you upstairs. You forgot about that. She's going to be like, khutbah 1 was downstairs, khutbah 2 is upstairs. Don't you know there's 2 khutbahs in a sermon? And when she follows you upstairs, where are you going to go? Right, I said that. I said, so did you hear these answers? These is answers. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Exact answers I got with a couple of brothers up north. One brother said, he said, go to the toilet. No, brother, you don't go to the. Another brother, exactly. You know what he said? He said, jump out the window. See how scared they are of you, telling them off. They want to jump out the window. Like, brother, don't jump out the window. If you have it tough, you're upstairs, and if you got it tough, then what you do is you just go to the masjid. Go to the masjid, go and chill out. Go and chill out, read some Quran, do some nafil rakats, go and pray for your life. You know, pray for your life. Chill out with the imam, have a nice time, go back home. If a house is still on fire, go straight back to the masjid. All right? Don't enter your house. It's not good to enter. There should be a warning sign outside. And I want to tell you another thing, all right? And I'm going to say this on behalf of my sisters. Sisters, please back me on this one, okay? Please back me on this one, because I'm saying it on your behalf. And I'm trying to say it to protect you. So I hope you're going to back me up on this one, right? We men, it's almost like we're a different species, right? And they're saying, yes, that's a bit insulting. These women, they're also another species. We're 2 species, almost like 2 different species of the same race, okay? What happens is, when we men, when we argue, even in an argument, we try and make everything sound logical. It's got to make sense. All right? When our sisters are upset with us and they are saying a whole load of stuff to us, most things make sense. Not everything. And they were never meant to make sense. Do you guys understand? So, you don't understand? Okay, let me give you an example. So when one day she says to you, okay, she says to you, and you've never done anything good for me in my whole life. When one day she says that to you, if you apply logic, you're going to be like, oh my God. Oh my God, I don't know where to start. We should start with the wedding, the ring, the holidays, the honeymoon. Oh my God, oh my God. Otoboro misamat matri. Otoboro, such a big liar. Oh my God, where do I take this one? Where do I take this one? Right? You're going to end up killing yourself. See, her phrase when she said to you, you've never done anything good for me in my entire life, part of it was true. You've never done, it's not supposed to be anything, it's supposed to be some things good in my entire life. That's what it's supposed to be. But because she's hurt, she wants to make you feel hurt. You understand? At that moment, logic doesn't always be there like 100%. Am I right, sisters? You can nod your head because the camera's not looking at you. It's all right. They're not supposed to do that. Look, even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was sitting with the Sahaba, honestly, I discussed this with my Shaykh in Bangladesh. Because a lot of people here in the Western world, they're taking these ahadith and they're making Muslims look bad. They're trying to say, na'udhu billah, that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said something bad to the women. He didn't. Like you look at the hadith that says about the woman being like the rib, the lowest rib, that is bent and arched, right? Now the word bent in English has a negative connotation. The word bent in Arabic does not have a negative connotation. I want to make that very clear. So when you say someone's bent or something, you're trying to say in a negative way in the English language. In the Arabic language, it's not like that. What the Prophet ﷺ was saying is this. If the rib is bent, he said, if you try and straighten it, you'll break it. If you leave it as it is, it will remain in its shape. What does that mean? That means, look, the men are likened to the spine. You know the spine bone, it's straight. The women are likened to that rib bone, which is what? You're different from her, she's different from you. She was never meant to be like you, and you were never meant to be like her. Some brothers are like, no, if only she thought like me. But bruv, if she thought like you, she wouldn't be a woman, she'd be a man. You'd have another problem then. Seriously. And if a woman, and women think like that, if only he could see my perspective, if only he could be like me, think like me, feel like me. No, he can't. That's how we're supposed to meant to be. When the Prophet ﷺ said, he said, the rib, if you try and straighten it, you'll break it. If you leave it, it's bent. You know what my Shaykh said? My Shaykh said, she is, look, what does this rib do to you? This rib, all these bent ribs, they give you the beautiful shape of your body. The spine makes you stand straight, but the ribs give you the beautiful shape of your body. If you straightened all your ribs, you'd look like Godzilla. You'd look like a monster. They're meant to be bent. They're meant to be shaped like that. So what was he trying to say? He was trying to say, oh men, let them be. Because that's what women are. They sometimes do get a bit emotional, but those are the times that you need to know that you need to keep yourself, calm. You need to think that, you know what, we are different. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you want to find out some differences between men and women from a psychological point of view, there's a book that I read about 20 years ago, right? Called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. And you know what he does? He goes through the differences of us as men and women. Men, when they've got a problem, they become cold and quiet. Women, when they've got a problem, they generally will become talkative about the problem. True or not, tell me. Guys, true or not, tell me. Men, when they've got a problem, it's like, I will not talk about my problem. I just want to think about my problem, think about my problem, think about my problem. That's it. Just leave me alone. I just want to read my magazine, but I'm not really reading my magazine. It's a disguise. I just want to think, be to myself. Women are like, hey darling, hear what happened to me. Oh my God, this happened to me, that happened to me. She wants to talk about a problem. That's number one. Second thing is, when men ever open their mouths and talk about the problems, they will only talk to someone that they think can give them good advice. That's what they normally do. Women, on the other hand, generally they want to talk to several individuals. Whether they get advice or not, because look, men are seeking, look, he's mentioned this in the book. He says men are seeking a solution, and he will listen to the solution, say thank you, and that's it. He only gets solicited information. Women, on the other hand, she's not always interested in the solution. She wants to have a listening ear. Am I right, yes or no? Yes, thank you. So men, give your listening ear. And after 20 minutes when she asks you, so do you think I should do that? You're like, can you repeat your last 20 minutes, please? It's not going to be very good. Listen, honestly, they want someone to listen to them. Women generally, they want someone to feel what they're feeling. When they know someone is feeling what they're feeling, it makes them feel better. Men are like, if you come, like men are like this to women. Like, if you come and give me unsolicited information, and I'm trying to stay to myself, me and my magazine, and you're trying to get in between me and my magazine and try and spoil my lonely time to myself to think about my problem, and I never solicited you for information, then I'm going to see you as a nuisance. And the woman's like, what? I'm a nuisance? Oh my God, do you not love me anymore, big cat? That's how they interpret it. For them, it's a different world. They're from another planet. We're from another planet. That's how he writes the book. And honestly, when men have got, when men have got that relationship with women, men forget about all these small romantic stuff. They forget generally. Women keep a very good note of those dates in their head. We men forget. And if you blame us, they're like, I don't even know what you talked about. I don't know what's about. Oh my God, I forgot the anniversary. Oh my God. And men forget. The thing is, even when women want to communicate, they want him to understand without them having to tell us. Women we're so dumb, please spell it out for us. Honestly, that's how it is. A lot of arguments come into this because the women well, you should have thought about that. Isn't it obvious? Oh my God, you didn't think about that. Oh my God, it's so obvious, it's so obvious. He's like, look, I don't care, take me back to school, but please, I'm doing Tawbah here. It's not obvious to me. Men, generally, they will forget these things. They're not there. So when we say this, if you want to save your marriages, give the other person what they want. Like, for example, men need to listen to women. Women need to give men their space. Men need to give, just listen to the woman and feel what she's saying. She might not be after the solution. Women need to, give the man the space, and only when he wants to talk, then talk to him and give him a few solutions, and then go back to what you were, right? Where you were, and so on. Give each other the space. And if you read this, you find out that men and women fundamentally are different from the psychology right inside. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Look, you're going to say to me, well, we're supposed to do everything equal. Look, let me just stop you there, okay? A lot of marriages get into this strained relationship because you think that there's got to be, 50-50 commitment from everything. It doesn't happen like that. In real life, it doesn't happen like that. Let me tell you the truth, right? When a woman is a mother, her heart is absolute gold. The man doesn't have the heart of a woman. The woman has got a golden heart. In the first 7 years of a child's life, she will give about 65 to 70% of the attention to that child. And the child needs that. And only about 25-30% or whatever from the man. But when the child gets from 7 to 14-ish, you find it's like a 50-50 scenario. The men and women, both parents are giving their half towards the child, and the child needs both 50-50. And then when the child gets 14 or to the teen years, he or she needs the father to give the 70% at that time, and the mother will only be able to give 30% at that time, in terms of trying to build a character. Let me tell you how it works. When my almost 15-year-old son was young, when he was young, he was only 1 year old, he was teething. And what happened is my wife turned around to me and she said, can you look after him tonight? So I said, okay, fine, I'm going to look after him tonight. So I took him, and then every time he was like, every time he just dropped off, I just kind of dropped off, and then, okay, he's teething, his gums are hurting him. So I tossed and trying to get him to sleep, trying to put myself to sleep as well, and it wasn't happening for 2 to 3 hours. In the end, I turned around to her and said, look, just take the baby. She said, oh my God, what happened? Oh my God, you can't. And you know what? I said, look, I've got work in the morning, I'm going to get out of the house by 7 in the morning, I can't look after it, I'm sorry. And then you know what she did with her golden heart? She looked after the baby all night. All night she was restless. Next night, she did it night after night after night. I'm telling you one thing, 99% of men are not fit for that. I tell you that right now. Some sisters like, that's it. You just proven who we are. Fast forward 14 years. Now my kid's at home. He's playing his PlayStation game, right? My wife is at home. She will say, hey, switch it off. She says, yeah, I'm going to switch it off. After a little while, hey, switch it off. Yeah, I'm going to switch it off. After another good 10 minutes, 15 minutes, hey, switch it off. I told you to switch it off. Yeah, mom, okay, last game. After another 10 minutes, hey, I told you to switch it off. Okay, I'm switching it off. When I'm home, bruv, I just look at him. Game over, bruv. Game finished. And if in my house ever I was to say, I've got two boys in my house. In my house I was to say, hey, that's it. That's it. Like, you know why? Because they know what's coming after. I don't want to say the camera's looking at me. They know what's coming. So they're not going to do it. Now you tell me the father's role is very different at that age. They need me in the house when I'm around. Honestly, there's no messing about. With her, they're trying to override her all the time. They're trying to play her all the time. With me, they know they're not going to get away with it. And when I set the rule in front of them, that's like it's set. Dad said it, whoa, that's it. Right? That's the different roles we play. You're so brilliant at one part of the age. We're brilliant at another part of the age. We're there to complement one another. We're not there to compete with one another. So I'm going to say to you, look, please have your households where you don't make it a household like, no, I'm telling you this, sisters, right now, right? If he was not to do the dishes on a day, or if he did not clean up on a day, it does not translate to he does not love you. All right? Look at Laura Dole's book, Surrendered Wife. It does not mean that. Okay, you can have a go at him, you can say whatever to him, but look, love is something different. It might look like he hasn't done much, but he's actually gone through the whole month, bought that paycheck and paid for all the bills, for all the comforts throughout the house. From the water, the electricity, the gas, the mortgage, the council tax, and then the Wi-Fi and the telephone bills and everything else paid, and the food and expenses. He's done all of that. It might look like a one paycheck, but he's done a lot. For those 28 days to spend and come home with that paycheck is a lot. And my brothers, look, sisters have had a long day. They might need a break. They might need to, break off sometimes. And I'll tell you one thing, look, don't be like people who get into a midlife crisis. You know what midlife crisis is? They say midlife crisis is my last thing I'm going to say. I've got about 5 minutes to finish off and I'll finish off. Is that okay? Inshallah. Midlife crisis, how do you get into that? Because they say normally when you're about 35, you get into midlife crisis. 35-ish. You know how it happens? I've worked it out. I have actually worked out midlife crisis. I'll tell you how it happens. When you got married to her, she got married to you, she's like, both my eyes are for you, baby. And he's like, both my eyes are for you, my darling. Okay? So you just see each other all the time. Then out pops a baby. Then she says to you, my one eye for you, baby. And one eye for the little baby. All right? 2 babies. And you say exactly the same thing. Then out pops another baby. Then she's like, and you're like, my 2 eyes for 2 babies. Little time for you, baby. Okay? Then out pops 3 babies. Because us lot, alhamdulillah, mashallah, we don't believe in this population control thing, okay? We like, mashallah, alhamdulillah, especially in areas where the benefits are good, you kind of find, wow, the children just keep on popping out. Anyway, when 3 children come out, you start to juggle in the house. You're like, one needs to poo, one needs cleaning, one needs to eat. Oh my God, this one needs to sleep. Oh my God, the bogies are coming out of that one. Oh my God, that one got sick. Oh my God. You're juggling with the babies, both of you. You're not looking at her, she's not looking at you. You spend several years like that until you've drawn apart from one another. You were busy with your business, trying to set it up. You're busy with your work. She was busy with the kids, busy with all the cooking, cleaning, whatever else is going on. And in the end, you find yourself drawn apart. You know what you needed to have done? Please do this in your 30s. Take breaks. Leave your children with the grandparents. Leave them with other members of the family. Go out for your dates. Go out. Enjoy yourself. You're going to say, no, but that's not for us. We're married. Go out for a walk. Get out of the house. You're stinking up curries. Get out of the house, go out for a walk, go and visit places, go to theater, go to somewhere else where you can find something halal to watch or halal amusement, whatever you can find out there, just go for it. Do it. Get out. Because you need to spend time with one another. When you spend time with one another, you make those magical touches come true again. Otherwise, you're going to be wrangling inside the house. You're going to be having a go at each other. And if you actually do what I said, you're gonna rejuvenate the whole relationship again. And that's what it needs. Give gifts to each other. And wear nice clothes when you're home. You understand? Bruv, in the same pajamas for 3 days. walking like a zombie. And your missus is not any good either. She's smelling of those onions from last night. Honestly, sisters and brothers, why do you put perfumes in the house? Why do you have to put the perfume just before you come out the house? So you put nice clothes, nice look, perfume, everything for outside the house, and when you come home, you're stinking. That doesn't make sense to me. In your house, wear nice clothes for your husband. Wear nice clothes for your wife. Make compliments to one another. Tell each other how you look. Compliment. Say, oh, I like this about you. I like that about you. If you don't like something, don't say, I don't like that about you. Say in a positive way. That could be better like this. I like this type of trimmed hair, whatever it is, okay? If you make those, it'll be better anyway. Jazakumullah khair. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. You have Q&A? Okay, Q&A. You're getting a bonus thing now, Q&A. Those of you got questions, put your hands up. Yes, brother.
So like with like egos, that plays a big part in like arguments and like to make it worse. How can like we tackle that ego?
Okay, so egos play a big role in a lot of problems that people have in married life. So how do you do what, sorry?
How do you like control that? Really?
Control your ego. Look, a massive thing for people to control the egos is to actually become more religious. It's a massive way. Becoming more religious means you need to stay in the company of people who are religious, and you need to mold your life according to their life. The real change comes whenever you spend time with someone who's religious and someone who actually is better than you in their deen, and you spend a lot of time with them. The longer time you spend with them, the more you mold yourself, whether that's a teacher, whether that's a spiritual person, whether that's a very good person you know in your life. That's real change. Or start to read Islamic books and start to act upon what you're supposed to know, right? And start to make a change in your life according to that. Really, change comes from going out there to people who are going to guide you how to make a change, right? Even if it's through your actions. Any sisters, questions? Any sisters, any questions? No? Any brothers? Question, yes?
What would you recommend for, like, apart from online side, what other recommendations do you have to actually go out and meet someone? Like for me personally, like I work in a place where it's probably full of Muslims.
Okay.
I can't really find someone.
You know what I would say? What I would say, the brother's asking, how do you go about to meet one another? Even like, okay, online is one thing which I discussed. 30% of those people might be genuine, and I mentioned like go through families and other contacts. Most masjids have got a lot of people, contacts and so on, right? So I think some masjids have started this kind of their own database. I know my own masjid, which is Palmer's Green in North London. They have started like their own little database for people who in the area. There's like-minded masjids that do that. Now my idea I've been given out, and I really wish some of you can take this up, please, is we need a matrimonial app or a database that links the masjids up. So like let's say for example this masjid says we've got 5 people who've given their CVs or whatever to us. We've got 10 people here. Those masjids need to have a unified database if they could talk to each other, and someone says okay, because masjid is a place where you get really nice people coming through, who are musallis, who've been praying and so on and so forth, right? But if if that database is not around, please contact different masjids, especially the large ones. Large masjids, and ask them if they've got certain databases that they've got. Then you can come and put your database. They could probably find a marriage kind of proposal that might fit you or suit you. Okay, so that's one way to try and find someone. Any sisters with the question? Yes. Oh wow, sisters brought up a big $1,000 question, which is in-laws. What about the in-laws, my sister? You're saying that you love your in-laws, mashallah. Did you say you're going to stay with them for the rest of your life? Alhamdulillah. Look, some in-laws are like gold, but what the sister is actually saying is that in-laws do cause, or can cause, a lot of problems, right? And I don't know what it is, but you find this thing where especially the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-laws fight, it kind of never ends. And I'll tell you the psychology behind it. The mother-in-law is like, this is my kingdom, the kitchen is my kingdom. I rule, me, myself, the 3 of us rule. All right? And when the daughter-in-law comes in, then it's like, who are you? And she's like, okay, I want to do things like this, I want to do things like that. She's like, no, you got to do it my way or it's the highway, right? And that's where a lot of things happen. Another one is that she actually probably never had a good relationship with her husband. This is actually a real scenario. A lot of women have been through this. She actually never had a good relationship with her husband. And then one point in her life she thought, you know what, forget my husband, I'm going to give him what he needs, but forget that. I'm going to have my entire thoughts and everything for my children. So she gives most of her time to the children. The sons grow up and she thinks, that's it, my sons are going to be my everything for my life. And when that son gets married and then a daughter-in-law comes in, and it's almost like she's stolen the love of her son from her, from the mother-in-law, that's when things can get a bit ugly, all right? Now, there are many reasons why it might happen, but you know what? Eventually, the best peace you can find is to get your own place. But sometimes, you know what? You can't get your own place because the husband's stuck. The husband might have parents that are very old. They might need help. There's nobody else to look after them, or he needs to be there for one reason or another. And end of the day, what do? Well, look, you're married to your husband. Your obligation is to your husband. Your obligation is not to everybody else. Please remember that. Your obligation is to your husband. Your husband's obligation is to the rest of his family. So however you come to a compromise, you can talk to your husband, but if it means that you're going to stay in that house for longer, then you keep your husband happy, say longer. But if it means that no, you can't have it. Look, sometimes some sisters are like, no, I just can't stay in this house. It's just driving me crazy. Then you need to come to a solution. The guy needs to find you a separate place, or you need to together come up with something where you both going to invest in a separate place. Because I do understand, look, I can't give you one solution to all in-laws problems. Every case is a case-to-case basis. It's always different. Sometimes you find in-laws are not so bad. Sometimes you find that they are very irritating and they're causing major problems. There's all sorts of cases. I found brothers who've told me that their wives have actually found it better in their house than their own parents' house. There's been cases like that. But then I find sisters that have told me also that it's almost like they can't bear another day in that house. Right? So look, I'm not going to make one general statement for every single scenario, but I will say to you, your comfort is going to be when you find your own space, but how you get that is going to be between the negotiation of you and your husband, or the husband and wife and so on, and then you work it out from there, inshallah. Any who hasn't asked the question? You brother in the red shirt, go.
A lot of issues and problems in the turbulent process, like aunties, uncles, grandparents, in-laws, everyone has. What is the role of the sibling and how can they make life easy?
In terms of choosing someone for marriage, or?
Anything, before, after, during.
Okay, so look, the thing is, look, what the brother's asking is about, everybody else trying to say what they want for the marriage and so on, but what's the role of the siblings and so on, when you're trying to choose before, during, after and so on. Look, the thing is, they come with a lot of experience, the parents. And naturally they're going to hold a greater weight. It doesn't matter how you slice the cake, they're going to have a greater weight. You can put your opinions forward. Like I said to you earlier on, that you give your opinion. You tell them, look, this is what the Quran said, this is what the Hadith said, this is what we're supposed to do and so on. And you're not supposed to be disrespectful to your parents. You can put your opinions forward, but don't be disrespectful towards them. You can strongly say, look, I really think this should be done, but if they disagree, they disagree. Your duty towards your parents and so on has to stay on. You don't have to agree with everything they've said. If you're in doubt, then please go and see an imam of what things you have to agree, what things you shouldn't agree to. Because some people are blackmailed into marriage by saying, I'm your dad, I'm your mom, I've told you to do this, you've got to obey me. That's blackmail. That's not how it should be, right? It's your right to find the person you're going to live comfortably with for the rest of your life. That's your right. They can't blackmail you with the parents, I'm your parents, I say how it is and you've got to listen to me. It's not like that. If you're in doubt, go and see an imam, right? How do women deal with confrontation in the house with your husband when there are family, in-laws around? Again, look, sisters and brothers, look, try and keep your problems private. One thing I found in the recent years is there's a lot of, we know that divorce rates are going up, but do you know that some of the divorces are actually happening because of social media? because of the involvement of WhatsApp, social media, voice recordings, actual video recordings of people who've said something, done something. Because of that, and if it gets to that, I'm telling you one thing, if you ever voice record your other half and you try and prove to someone, look, this is what they said, and that leaks out, relationship is probably going to be over. Because once trust is gone, once trust goes, you're on a fringe you're hanging on a fringe with your nikah. You're just hanging very loose with the whole nikah. You need to keep that trust. So if you got arguments with your husband or with your wife, or whatever you want to discuss together, keep it behind private doors and try and keep it within private doors. If you feel that it's getting too much, then only involve someone who's going to be unbiased. It's very difficult to find unbiased people who can sort out your problems. To find unbiased person to come and sit with you and tell them what's going on. Let them hear both parties. The Quran says when it gets very detrimental, then find one person from her family that is very wise and also unbiased, and that's going to do his best to resolve the marriage. And find one person from his family exactly with the same qualities, and both of them talk to one another. It's in Quran, Surah number 4, ayah number 35, Allah Azza wa Jalla has mentioned that you try and find from both parties people who are wise and who are going to try and resolve the marriage and who've got the best of interest for both of the parties. Okay? Otherwise, you know what? Spreading your information to anyone and everyone on WhatsApp, and it happens. You think that, oh, I'm just going to mention this to my sister. You just type it. I'm going to mention to my so and so, my family, right? You know what? It causes huge damage because a single screenshot of your message could be detrimental to your whole marriage because it breaks the trust. How dare you behind my back send it to so and so and make me feel like I'm not important in your life? You could have spoken to me about it, right? I understand if it gets to something like abuse and other things, then you have to speak to other people, right? But who you speak to, how you speak, which capacity, how much you speak is something you have to measure. Okay? So are we done? One more. One more. Okay, the brother here. There. How do you tackle the problem if no one sees each other's faults? How do you tackle the problem if no one sees each other's faults? Then go to Specsavers. I started off the whole talk with one thing. Which, can you remember what that is?
No one is perfect. No
one is perfect. Thank you, brother. If you're there thinking that, you know what, you can't see, I don't see your faults, but you know what? I see all your faults, but you can't see any of your own faults. Then you know what? You're living on a false premise. I'll tell you one thing. Look, let me try and save your marriage and make you feel you're in a good relationship for a longer period of time. Imagine, look, we've got two eyes right now. We all have got two eyes, but imagine one of those eyes is a positive eye, the right one is a positive eye, and the left one is a negative eye. Just imagine that for a moment. Okay. Just imagine for a moment, this eye we see positive things and this eye we see negative things, okay? In life, whenever you want to see positive in anything, you've got one eye to see that. In life, whenever you want to see negative in anything, you've got another eye to see that. I want to ask you right now, in this hall, find me something positive that you can see. Anything, maybe a few things. If you've got something in your mind, put your hands up. What's that?
Good speaker here.
Okay. Stop buttering me up, bro. But the lights are good. Someone else. Anyone? So spacious and so on. Okay, you can find 3, easy. You can find 5 things, 10 things. If I say to you right now, find something negative in this hole, find it, go on. So you're going to find some sort of marks there. You can find some marks on the walls here. You can probably find some, other things that are, that whole thing is bent over there. That metal piece is bent over there. You can find negative things anywhere you want. Right? The point is, if you want to then again find positive, you're going to say, okay, fine, you've got nice pillars here, you've got a nice, you've got the musallas that have been laid out here, we've got nice carpet here, we've got wood underneath, mashallah, it's looking good, the design is good, the features are good. You can find positives. You can carry on positives or negatives. I'm asking you simply to do one thing. Whenever you feel in your relationship that, things are not looking that positive, just open your positive eye and start looking. And if your left eye keeps on staying open, then you are Dajjal. You know what I'm trying to say? Because if you never can see positive in your life, then you are the Dajjal. You've got the left eye open, you can just make everything really bad in your life. Anyway, it's been a wonderful afternoon. I want you to stay here, stay 1 minute, because I need, look, Tell me this, bros or brothers here. MashaAllah, who had a nice iftar yesterday? Put your hands up. Be thankful to Allah. Thank you. Good. We need 15 of you brothers who've had nice iftars to roll up the carpets. Right? 15 of you brothers. Put your hands up. 15 of you brothers who just gonna, honestly, the more brothers we've got, the easier we're gonna do this, the quicker we're gonna do this. Can I have a show of 15 brothers, Alice? Come, put your hands up, brothers, put your, we need a few more hands. Good. If you can please, with Brother Hasan, do this very quickly, it'll be really good. And, you know, I'm just gonna pass the mic back to Brother Hasan.